Hello and welcome to Finance Conversations. This is the 81st episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I am super excited to be here with you. Today actually is a National Greenpeace Day. It is a day set aside to change the way people treat the environment, and it calls for improving the quality of the air we breathe. It calls for relying less on fossil fuels. It calls on not using plastic. And it also calls on improving the quality of water around the world. And as the saying goes, we do not inherit this world from our ancestors. We actually borrow it for our children. So welcome to the Merging Life and Money Show. Today's show is about the cost of financial ignorance. So before I get into it, let me introduce myself. For those of you who do not know me, I am Marie-Jo César. I am a financial wellness strategist. I help women transform their relationship with money by tooling them with the necessary skills and knowledge they need to take control of their money, manage their finances, and recognize that they can actually live their best life with the money they have. Thank you for joining in today. So if you're watching the replay, again, make sure to type #replay in the chat and feel free to leave me some comments and some questions. Okay, so I come live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share tips, tools, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and to give you valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness and live your life with means and meaning. So for those of you who know me, the Merging Life and Money Show's primary purpose and my very, very strong why is to empower as many women as I can by sharing what I know about finance and money so they can really live their greatest lives yet. So grab a pen and a notebook because you might want to take some notes and you might want to share them. You might want to talk about them with your neighbors and your family members, your coworkers, your friends, because it is about sharing values that benefit others. So if you are listening on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, or any other major podcast platform, welcome. I am glad that you joined in today. So let us begin. Today, I will explore the cost of not knowing about money. Let me tell you, financial ignorance carries significant costs. For example, consumers who do not understand how interest adds up spend more on transaction fees, run up bigger debts, and pay higher interest rates on loans because they do not understand how interest adds up. Also, they end up taking out more loans and they end up saving less money. Meanwhile, the potential benefits of financial literacy are manifold. So people who are good with money plan and save for retirement better, and investors who are good with money are more likely to spread their risk by putting their money in more than one venture. Another reason that you should not be financially ignorant is the many changes made to the pension system, particularly in the US. These changes require that you make your own financial decision regarding your retirement plan. Whilst once upon a time, you used to depend on your employers or your government for your financial security once you reach retirement age. And yes, no doubt that money is a touchy subject for a lot of people, as it can be hard to talk about and even harder to think about. But the fact is, money is a very important part of our lives. It is something that we all deal with, and it is something that that actually can have a huge impact on our lives. So this lack of financial literacy can cost you dearly. So let's take a closer look at the situation. Let me say that although there are many, today I will focus on 3 potential costs of not knowing about money. And next week, I will address another 3. So the one that I'm going to talk about today are the hidden cost, of being, ignorant about money, the personal cost, and also the societal cost. So before getting into it, I'm going to look at some statistics. A 2021 survey conducted by the NFEC, which stands for the National Financial Educators Council, asked American adults to estimate how much money they had lost during the year due to lack of financial knowledge. So the single question survey asked US residents across the country during the past year, 2021, how much money do you think you lost because you lacked knowledge about personal finances? Among this diverse group of respondents, the estimated average amount of money that lacking knowledge about personal finances cost people was about $1,389, and that was in 2021, fairly recently. And if we generalize the results to represent, to represent all of the 254 million adults who live in the US today, the lack of financial literacy cost Americans a total amount of more than $352 billion with a B in 2021. So now let's look at the first potential cost, which is the hidden costs. So people don't like to think about money all that much, that we know, okay? It's a touchy subject. It's easy to ignore your money problems and act as if everything is fine. But money is a very important part of our life, as I mentioned earlier. If you don't pay attention to your money, it can hurt you in the long run. So it is important to learn as much as you can about it. A lot of people don't think about the hidden cost of not knowing about money, but it can have a huge effect on your life. We are going to talk about some of these hidden costs and how to avoid them. So money is, as I said, a sensitive subject for a lot of people, which is no secret, right? Some people feel stressed and anxious about it, while others think it's no big deal, right? So it's a big no-no. We just don't talk about it. But money is a big part of our lives, whether we like it or not. And if we don't know about it, there can be some pretty big hidden costs. Here are some hidden costs of not understanding money. You might make mistakes that cost you a lot of money, okay? So if you don't know how money works, it's easy to make mistakes that cost a lot. For example, you might not realize that you are paying too much interest on your credit card balance, or that you are not investing your money in the best way. Okay, another example is that you could miss out on opportunities if you don't understand how money works. Okay, for example, you might not know that you could be earning more interest on your savings if only you were to change banks. Okay, or that you could be eligible for certain tax breaks, for example. Another hidden cost is that people could take advantage of you, because people who are not honest could take advantage of you if you don't know how much, if you don't know much about money. For example, you might be convinced to buy something that you actually cannot afford, or you might be convinced, or you might make an investment that is not in your best interests. Okay, another one would be it could be hard for you to reach your money goals, because if you do not understand how money works, you might not know how much you need to save for retirement, or how to invest your money in the best way to reach your goals. Another one would be you might end up worrying about money, right? So if you don't know about money, money could cause you a lot of stress and a lot of worry. This is because the way that I see it, you might always be worried about making mistakes or not being able to reach your financial goals. So even though not knowing about money can have some hidden cost, it is never too late to learn. You can find a lot of information to help you learn the basics of money. And the more you know about money, the better you will be able to make good financial decisions and reach your financial goals. Okay, so I will summarize this point by saying that it is important to know about money so that you can make good choices about your money. But there are costs you don't see when you don't know about money. So some of these, again, I'm summarizing, you will be worried about money, stress and anxiety, paying more for goods and services, being taken advantage of financially, making some bad investment choices, and making some bad financial decisions that can hurt you in the long run. So because of this, it is important, I will stress it is important to learn about money so you could avoid those hidden costs. Okay. Now let's take a look at the second potential cost of financial ignorance, which is personal cost. As they say, ignorance is bliss. Okay. But when it comes to money, ignorance can be costly. If you don't know about money, you might miss out on opportunities, pay more on interest, or even have to pay fees that you don't have to pay. So what are the costs to you as a person if you don't know about money? Let's take a look. Money worries are a big source of stress for a lot of people. In fact, financial stress is one of the main reasons why people feel anxious and sad. Okay. This has been rated number one. Money has been rated the number one stressor for American in the very many past years, and it's continued to be. So, but what's even scarier is that so many people don't know even the most basic things about money. They don't know how to allocate their money. They don't know how to use credit. They don't even understand about saving for retirement, and don't talk about investment. They just don't even utter this word. So this lack of knowledge about money had real world effects. It makes people make bad choices, which can hurt their health, can hurt their relationships, and their well-being overall. So here are just a few ways that knowing about money can hurt you. You are more likely to make bad choices, as I said, about money. If you don't know the basics about money, you are more likely to, again, well, you don't know. Okay, you don't know what you don't know. This can include things like spending too much, or like taking on too much debt, or not saving enough for your retirement. And these choices can have a big effect on your financial security and your health overall. So another personal cost, when you feel very stressed about money, when you don't know how money works, this is where the problem is. It can cause you a lot of stress and worry. This is because you worry about money and always wonder if you are doing things the right way. And your mental and physical health can be hurt by this stress. It can also hurt your relationship with other people. You may also be more likely to have debts when you retire. That's something that you don't want to have, period. So if you don't know how to save for retirement, you may end up with debt when you retire. And this debt can be a huge financial and mental burden as a retiree. Okay, it can also make you less independent in retirement, right? Because you may have to depend on others for money. You may have to depend on others to take care of you, simply because you didn't know when you were working that you had to save for retirement. When another example, that I want to talk about is when you are in a relationship, you are more likely to have money problems. This is a fact. Problems with money are one of the main things that cause stress in relationships. If you and your partner do not understand your finances well, it could lead to fights or even end your relationship. Another example of a cost, a personal cost by not knowing about money is it could be very hard for you to reach your financial goals. We all have goals. We work hard for a reason. Okay, so if you don't know that much about money, it can be hard for you to even set and reach your financial goals. This can affect every part of your life, from buying a home to saving for retirement. It is important to learn about it if you want to avoid the cost that comes with not knowing about it. You can learn the basics of personal finance from a number of different places that we know. You can start by talking to a financial professional. You could take a class on personal finance. You could read books or articles on the subject. And this is readily available. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a computer. I should say most people have computers. And the more you know about money, the better you will be able to decide what to do with your money. Okay? So cost to yourself can be high if you don't know about money. Okay? We all agree. If you are a business owner or a professional woman, it is even more important for you to know the basics of personal finance. To make smart choices about your money, you need to know a lot about it. If you don't know about it, you might miss out on opportunities. You might be subject to pay more interest and subject to pay fees that you don't have to pay. Okay, so don't let the personal cost of not knowing about money keep you from reaching your financial goals. And the third and last potential cost that I want to address today is the cost to society. As noted, money is the most important thing in our world. Yet again, many of us go through life without really knowing how money works. So this lack of financial knowledge can hurt both the person and society as a whole in very bad ways. It is not enough to know how to handle your money, your own money, to be financially literate. it is also important to know how the financial system works and how it affects everyone. Even though financial literacy is very important, it is alarming how what do I want to say? I want to say that even though financial literacy is very important, it is alarmingly low in many countries, and the US is no exception, okay? Only about a third of adults in the US know how to handle money. So this lack of knowledge about money can have a big effect. It can make it hard for people to make good financial choices, put them in debt, and make it harder for them to handle financial shocks. Also, people who don't know much about money can hurt society as a whole, right? Because the mistake that you make accumulate and could put some stress on your country, the economy of your country. So if people don't know enough about money, they might make bad decisions, as I said, at the national level, which can have terrible effect on the economy. For example, so it's no secret that money, as I said again, is a very touchy, a very sensitive topic. Okay, it's a source of stress, it's a source of worry for a lot of us. But on the other hand, it is a big part of our lives. Even we don't like it, even we don't like to talk about it. Okay, so despite its importance, most Americans do not know much about money, which is shocking, right? Or not for some. A recent report from FINRA is the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, found that only 24% of Americans could answer 4 basic questions about money correctly. This means that 76% of Americans don't know much about money. So this lack of knowledge about money has real-world effects. It makes us make bad decisions, as I mentioned, which can affect our lives and in the process affect the economy as a whole. So think about these things, okay? Individuals who are financially literate are more likely to save for retirement. So the FINRA report says that only 47% of Americans have saved money for their retirement. Again, which means that 53% of Americans are not saving for the future. This is a problem because it costs a lot of money to retire. Depending on where you live, which state you are in, the cost of a comfortable retirement may vary from as little as $858,000 to as much as, I don't know, 1.5 million. And that's not even counting the cost of long-term care. So without savings for retirement, many Americans will have to depend on Social Security, which is only meant to replace about 40% of the income you had, I should say, before you retire. So second point is that people who know about money are more likely to have savings for emergencies. So to storms, you need to have an emergency fund, okay? Yet the FINRA report that only 41% of Americans have enough savings to cover an emergency costing $1,000. So this lack of savings for emergency can have terrible, terrible effects. For example, if you don't have health insurance and you have a medical emergency, you could end up with bills for tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. Another example is that people who know about money are more likely to make smart investment decisions. Investing is one of the smartest things you can do with your money. Okay. It lets you build your wealth over time and feel more secure about your money. And the FINRA report says that only 26% of Americans have money in the stock market. This means that 74% of Americans are missing out on the chance to get wealthier. Okay, so people who know a lot about money are more likely to have good credit. It is important to know your credit score, for example. It is used to decide if you can get a loan and how much interest you will have to pay. Over the course of your life, a good credit score can save you a lot of money. But only 24% of Americans have, quote unquote, good credit, according to the FINRA report. This lack of knowledge about money has real-world effect. Okay, it makes us make bad decisions, as I said, about money, which can affect our lives and in so doing affect the economy. So if we want to be better off financially, we need to start by learning more about money. We need to learn more about money and teach our loved ones as well. We need to talk about our money in an honest way, okay? And teaching people about money needs to be a priority. So let us promise ourselves to learn more about how money works. It is time to close the financial knowledge gender gap. We can do this. Okay, so it is obvious that we need to do more to teach people about money. But what can we do? Okay, what can be done to help people learn more about money? One idea is to make learning about money a requirement in schools. This would make sure that everyone knows at least the basics about money before going to work. There has been a move toward that for decades now, but it clearly has not worked out very well. Seeing the amount of debt that we have and the amount of people who cannot retire and have to work until they drop. Another idea is to provide employees with financial wellness benefits, as a matter of fact, okay? The same way that you offer pension benefit, they should be able to offer financial wellness programs. And that's what I'm talking about, a true financial wellness program that takes a holistic approach and combine tools, education, and resources to financially educate the people, the employees, and help them achieve their financial goals. And by the way, happy employees, knowledgeable employees, educated employees are greater assets to their organization, to their employers. So no matter how you look at it, financial literacy is a problem that needs to be fixed. Okay, so by teaching people more about money, we can help make our societies stronger and more prosperous. The societal costs of not knowing about money are far too high. Businesswomen and professionals, we need to know how money works and how to use it to our advantage. We need to be able to make sound financial decisions that will benefit us both personally and professionally. The bottom line is that financial education is power. It means having the power to make your own financial security, reach your goals, be prepared for whatever life throws your way, and build a better future for yourself and your family. I'm going to wind down some and summarize what I talked about. And if I appear to be preaching, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure, I'm passionate about it. I just want to make sure that we all understand the importance of being financially educated. So I talk about financial ignorance, and I focus on 3 costs of not knowing about money. And I looked at the hidden costs, I look at the personal cost, and I look at the cost to society. So as I see it, as a society, we have a lot of problems. Okay, we are in debt, we don't save, we don't invest, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we simply do not understand money. So money is one of those things that we are taught is grown up and complicated, and so we just don't bother trying to understand it. But the truth is, money is not complicated. It is actually quite simple. And the sooner we learn about it, the better off we'll be. Okay? You cannot spend any more than you earn. The problem is most of us never learn about money. We are not taught about it in schools, and our parents probably don't know much about it either. So we go through life not really understanding how money works. And that's a problem. Because when we don't understand something, we are more likely to make bad decisions. Consequently, we are more likely to get into debts, and we are more likely to have, or to make, I should say, poor investment choices, right? And the fact is that we end up costing ourselves a lot of money that could have been used to buy a home, start a business, or even retire early. So what are we going to do about it? We can start by educating ourselves about money. There are a lot of great resources, as I mentioned out here, and that can help us learn about money. There are books, blog posts, podcasts, and even online courses. Okay, so take some time to educate yourself about money, and you'll be surprised at how much better off you'll be. As a bonus, you'll be able to help others by sharing what you have learned. So my last word for today's show: money is often seen as a taboo topic, especially for women. We don't like to talk about it, we don't like to think about it, and we definitely don't like to teach our children about it. This is a huge mistake. Money is a very important part of our lives, and we need to start talking about it. We are socialized to believe that discussing money is impolite and that we should just be grateful for what we have. But the reality is, money is a critical part of our lives. It is time we start talking about it. Money is a complex topic for some, and there is a lot we don't know about it. This lack of knowledge can have real consequences, okay? Women in particular, okay, are vulnerable to financial abuse and exploitation, and we are more likely to end up in debt than men. Furthermore, as professional women, we are especially vulnerable to the high cost of lacking financial literacy. We earn less than our male counterparts, and we are more likely to take time out of the workforce to care for our families. And, family members, could be kids, could be aging parents. This means that we have less time to learn about financial planning and investing. We also tend to live longer than men, which means we need to plan for a longer retirement. So the high cost of financial illiteracy is something that we can no longer afford to ignore. Ignorance about money is costly, people. We need to take action to improve our financial literacy and our financial knowledge. Okay, we can start by taking advantage of the many resources, as I said, that are available to us, and they are countless. Okay, you got books, you got websites, you got articles, magazine, you name it, you have them, that can help us learn about personal finance in particular. We can also take advantage of financial education courses and programs and workshops that are readily available these days. And as you know, I like to end my show with a quote. And today I chose a quote from Sunday Adelaja, and it reads, "The number one cause of poverty is ignorance." Sunday Adelaja is a Nigerian-born Ukrainian pastor, journalist, and author. This brings us to the end of today's Merging Life and Money episode. I hope that you have enjoyed today's show, and I totally encourage you to watch the replay and make sure to share it with others. For more information about how to achieve financial wellness from the inside out and live a purposeful life with the money you have, join me next week, Thursday. Okay, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Time, and 10 a.m. Friday, Brisbane, Australia time. Thank you for being here today on the Merging Life and Money Show. I am your host, Marie-Jo César. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.